You ever see something online that sounds way too good to be true, but a little part of you is still kind of curious? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. We're going to take a real world financial pitch and just pull it apart piece by piece to see what makes it tick. We're going to find out what those powerful, persuasive techniques really are. So, yeah, let's dive in.
And this is the hook. Bam! Right out of the gate, it just grabs you with a super specific, really dramatic question. And think about it. It's not just get rich. It's $120 a month turns into $54,000 a year. That specificity, it just makes the whole thing feel more real, doesn't it? It feels tangible, and that's the point. This one question sets the entire stage for everything that's about to follow.
All right, so let's break down this first move. The whole goal here is to set up a problem that, a lot of us can relate to. And then, boom, they immediately hit you with this tantalizing what-if scenario, planting that little seed of a possibility that makes you think, maybe I could do that. Now check this out. Let's be real. I mean, this is so clever. They're immediately trying to get on your side, to build that connection. It's a classic move, really. They're tapping into that universal frustration we all feel about money sometimes. It just creates this instant, yeah, you get me kind of feeling. And here's where it gets really smart. This is like a persuasion 1-2 punch. First, they call out exactly what you're probably thinking. This sounds too good to be true, right? By acknowledging your doubt, they kind of make you lower your guard. But then they pivot hard. They hit you with that emotional question. But what if it's true? See what they did there? They took your skepticism and flipped it into exciting possibility. It's brilliant. So, from that little spark of possibility, we move into the heart of it, the big promise. This is where they put a number on the dream. It's not a vague desire for wealth anymore. Nope. Now it's a very concrete, very desirable number. First up, they establish the total investment over 4 years. By this point, they've already anchored you to that much smaller monthly number. It's a technique called chunking, breaking a big, scary number down into smaller, less intimidating bites. So this total investment feels more like a calculated risk, not some overwhelming cost. And then, boom, they hit you with the payoff. They put that total investment right next to the promised annual return. Just look at that contrast, $5,760 versus $54,000. That visual just has a huge psychological impact. It's designed to make the investment feel tiny and the reward feel absolutely massive. And this is the real kicker. It's not just a one-time thing. That simple question implies this is a recurring, passive income stream. It transforms the whole offer from just a simple investment into a pathway to long-term financial freedom. So, after a promise that big, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably something like, okay, what's the catch, right? Your brain is screaming it. Well, the pitch knows that. And this next part is all about answering that question by making the required work sound astonishingly, ridiculously simple. And look, they do it again. They literally ask the question for you. They're getting ahead of your objection, which is a super effective way to build trust. It makes them seem open and honest, right before they define the so-called catch on their own very simple terms. So what is the catch? The entire effort, the whole thing you need to do for this massive financial transformation, it all gets boiled down to one single, completely non-intimidating digit. 2. Not 200, not 20, just 2. And here are the steps. Notice how passive and simple they sound. Put a video in front of others. Have 2 of them say yes. This is so deliberate. It lowers the barrier to entry, so you think, hey, anyone could do that. It completely removes any objections you might have about needing special skills or experience. Okay, so they've made the big promise, and they've made the task sound like a piece of cake. What's next? Well, now they've got to make you feel like you need to act right now. This is where they shift gears and start creating a real sense of urgency. First, they introduce what seems like a really generous deadline. You have 6 whole months to complete this simple task. This is designed to reduce any anxiety and make it feel even more achievable. But you gotta know this generosity is just a setup for what's coming next. Because no sooner do they give you that generous deadline than they snatch it right back. 6 months is suddenly reframed as super slow. This is a powerful psychological flip that creates social pressure. You don't want to be the slow one, do you? And that social pressure gets immediately reinforced with what's called social proof. The pitch uses these vague but really compelling examples of other people succeeding much, much faster. This triggers a powerful fear of missing out, FOMO, and it creates a really strong incentive to act immediately. So, all these elements, the relatable problem, the big promise, the simple task, and the urgency are now all coming together for the final push, a clear and compelling call to action. The instructions are direct and clear. But notice that last phrase, for the next available spot. Ooh, that introduces the powerful principle of scarcity. By suggesting the opportunity is limited, it creates even more urgency and, of course, increases the perceived value of the offer. And this is the final vision they leave you with. The pitch doesn't just offer you money, it offers you an identity. You're not just joining a program, you're joining a community and becoming an automatic internet millionaire. Wow, that's a powerful, aspirational title that you're invited to claim for yourself. So, deconstructing a message like this, it's not about judgment. It's about understanding the mechanics. We've seen how this pitch uses a powerful hook, builds rapport, quantifies a dream, simplifies the task, and then creates urgency through social proof and scarcity. Which brings us to our final thought. What are the persuasive techniques that are most effective at capturing your attention?